With Liverpool finishing 5th last year in the Premier League and having a down year to their standards over recent years under Klopp, Liverpool went about fixing their weakness that everyone and their mom could see within their squad, that being their midfield. I mean, having players well past their prime like 33-year-old Jordan Henderson, 37-year-old James Milner, and then other players that were just underperforming in Fabinho, Naby Keita, Oxlade-Chamberlain. With all of those players being your primary midfield options, Liverpool needed a change. So they sold every single one of those players I just mentioned and brought in much younger players in Gravenberch, McAllister and Szoboszlai. But they still needed at least one more midfielder, that midfielder primarily being a defensive midfielder. And after doing all they could for Moises Caicedo from Brighton and looking like they would inevitably sign him, Caicedo decided to rather sign for Chelsea, and on top of losing Caicedo to Chelsea, Liverpool also lost Lavia to Chelsea. So this forced Liverpool to pivot late in the window, and Liverpool got the 30-year-old Japanese international Wataru Endo for just 20 million euros from Stuttgart. At the time, not even the most optimistic Liverpool fan was 100% happy with the signing. They had missed out on what seemed like generational defensive midfielders. Caicedo was just 21 years old at the time, and instead got a 30-year-old defensive midfielder who played for a team that finished 16th in the Bundesliga, and the player was relatively unknown out of Japan and Germany. But fast forward to today, Endo is arguably one of the best holding midfielders in the Premier League and is looking like an absolute steal for just 20 million euros, proven to be an ever-solid presence for Liverpool in their midfield. But how did this happen? How did a seemingly nobody at the age of 30 years old turn out to be a better signing, at least as of right now, than the apparent generational talents in Moises Caicedo and Lavia? Well, that's what we will be talking about today. So what's going on, everyone? You are listening to Back of the Net here. I hope you're all doing well. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe if you guys haven't already, and let's get into it. Now, you would be forgiven for not knowing who Endo is, or at least questioning if he would even be good enough to play for Liverpool at the highest level. After all, he only started playing in Europe in 2020 when he was already 27 years old. Add on top of that he was playing for Stuttgart, who were at the time extremely lackluster, and the fact that Endo isn't particularly big like other defensive midfielders around the league like Rodri, Rice or Lavia. It was a questionable signing at the time, and I remember that at that time, rival fans were having a field day with this transfer after Liverpool missed out on both Caicedo and Lavia, and from the outside looking in, this looked like a very desperate move by Liverpool to just be able to say that they brought in a defensive midfielder. And with the fact that after Endo's arrival in Liverpool, he didn't immediately start or get much game time for Liverpool in the Premier League, making the situation even more funny for rival fans. I mean, he only played 118 minutes in his first 10 Premier League games for Liverpool. I mean, you saw good glimpses, but for the most part, I looked at him as a stopgap signing for Liverpool that eventually either in January or the next season that they would go in, spend a lot of money on a defensive midfielder and shore up that position. But as he got more game time for Liverpool, he looked more and more at ease with the English style of play, the pace of the play, and looked better and better game by game. Before long, he was a constant fixture in the Liverpool lineup. I mean, Endo went on to start 5 games in 13 days for Liverpool, being the first outfield player to do so for Liverpool since January 2006. And the more I watch him, the more I am impressed by what he can do both on and off the ball. And I mean, for the people that don't watch him and just look at Endo's stats, unfortunately that's actually a large portion of fans, but those people would be led to think that even right now, Endo isn't all that good. I mean, he's only scored 2 goals all season long, only got 1 assist all season long, and he's played 33 games so far for Liverpool. But again, this is why watching him is so important. He may not do the stuff that shows up on stats all the time, but Endo has been absolutely amazing. Between his superb work ethic with all his hard running, his ability to read the game, intercepting the ball, winning loose balls, holding onto the ball, dictating the tempo. I mean, Endo isn't only good in those categories, but he excels in them. Endo is also surprisingly very good in the air, winning 1.9 aerial duels per 90. Considering how he isn't necessarily big for his position, this is extremely impressive. Again, this all shows why stats aren't the be all and end all. Endo is so good at so many different things that don't always show up on the stat sheet. When Endo is playing for Liverpool, you can just see the difference to when he's not. When he's playing for Liverpool, they look like a well-oiled machine and very secure in midfield, whereas when he's not, they look a little more open and a little more weak in the midfield. He helps the team function better. And according to Who Scored, Liverpool score more and concede less when Endo is on the field. Again, another reason why Endo is just so good. Endo is far from the flashiest player, but he is so fundamentally sound in the basics and acts as an experienced head in a pretty young midfield. I mean, not to mention just how amazing he is at being a constant and willing runner, regardless of the minutes in the game or the score of the game or how long he has been playing. It's very easy that when you watch Liverpool, if you're not focusing 100%, it's very easy to just skip over Endo and forget that he's even playing. But that just shows you how good he is. He doesn't make mistakes, he's not often caught out of position, he's very good defensively, very good at tackling, and with a central defensive midfielder, oftentimes the less that you notice them, then the better that they actually are. Now again, Endo isn't an amazing progressive passer. He probably does need to get a little bit better than that, but that's not really his game. Again, his game is just shoring up the team, keeping the midfield strong, winning loose balls, making it very hard for opposition to play through the midfield. I mean, Endo is so good at reading the game that it's a skill in itself. In what was thought of as a temporary signing for Liverpool that would play when he's needed for the next couple of months, Endo is looking like a player that won't just play for the next couple of months for Liverpool, but could stay around for the next handful of years. He has a captain's mold. I mean, he's the captain of Japan for a reason, but he is just so good. And I beg you that if you don't rate Endo all that highly, next time Liverpool play, focus on Endo. Focus on what he does. Focus on how he makes it very hard for the opposition to have any success in the midfield, and then come tell me that he's not that good. Endo is superb, and for just 20 million euros, he is an absolutely outstanding bargain for Liverpool, considering that they were just going to pay 100 million euros for Moises Caicedo, and the fact that they have to pay 1/5 of that for a player that's been performing better than Caicedo, well, then that should tell you everything you need to know on how good of a signing this is. But yeah, guys, that's the video. Let me know in the comments below, do you rate Endo? Is he one of the best CDMs in the league? Let me know in the comments below. Please be sure to smash the like button, subscribe if you guys haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one.